Hi everyone, I'm Naomi, and today I'm going to share with you some very simple things that you can do to increase your ankle flexibility, to stretch out your feet, and just to have a healthier foundation from the ground up in general. So you are going to need a few props today. I have a few different varieties, a few options. So it would be helpful if you had some smaller athletic balls. So this is a tennis ball. You're probably very familiar with this one. But I also really like these lacrosse balls. They're a little bit firmer, so they're a lot less inclined to squish down. The tennis balls after a while will wear down with use, but lacrosse balls, these babies stay firm forever. So, which is a good advertisement, I feel like. So, if you can find one or the other, the tennis balls are a little bit easier to find. Lacrosse balls you can find in pretty much any athletic store. I highly recommend to grab something for your feet like this. You will also potentially need a block, and you will need a blanket. So if you don't have a block, no big deal, the block isn't 100% necessary, but the blanket, you can use a firm towel or, something, even a really thick sweater, something that you can roll up, because that's what we're going to use it for. So we are using props today, so if you don't have them, then bookmark this for another time, but I think you're really going to enjoy this really simple and effective way to work your ankles and your feet. So let's get started. Come to lie on your back, please. So the first thing that we're going to do is an ankle stretch. So you can lie on your back. Doesn't matter what you do with your left leg, but draw your right knee in towards your chest. Okay, and you can keep your right knee bent, or you can extend your leg straight. It's entirely up to you, whatever is more comfortable for your hamstrings and your low back. Okay, and then all you're going to do is roll your ankle in circles. Now, if you want a little bit more action, absolutely extend your right leg straight, and you can even extend your left leg straight out as well. And be really careful that you're not rolling your whole leg. Okay, it's actually a little bit of a subtle movement. You'll probably feel it up into your calf muscle as well. And go both directions. And you'll kind of feel like you're not really doing much of anything here. But you're really doing a lot. And then come back to a more neutral position for your foot. I want you to stretch out through your toes, so you're extending your toes towards the ceiling, often called pointing your toes. And then curl your toes back towards your body so that you are flexing your foot. So extend, stretch through your toes, and then curl your toes back. Extend out through your toes. Oh, it's a lot of work for your ankle. And extend back. And just also feel, one more time, extend out and curl back and then let it go. And just sort of feel while you're doing it, what is happening in your leg, where you're feeling the action. I feel a lot in my calf also, because calf muscle is going to help a lot of that happen, but a lot of it is really in my ankle and my foot. Okay, so draw your left knee in. You can keep your right knee bent if you like. Again, if you want a little bit more, I'm not going to props everywhere. If you want a little bit more action, you can extend your right leg out, your left leg straight up, but you can keep them both bent. Don't go anywhere. Just talking about props, everything's fine. Roll circles. Doesn't matter which way you go first. Roll your left ankle in circles, and as you do, be really mindful that you're not rolling your whole leg. Just keep it isolated as best you can in your ankle. Roll the other direction. And then coming back to a more neutral position for your foot and point your toes. So extending through your toes, stretch them, and then curl your toes back towards your body. And point or extend them out, stretch through your toes, and curl them back towards your body. Extend out, stretch through your toes, so you point. Curl your toes back towards your body. And one more time, extend out, stretch your toes, feel where it's happening, right? Look at the muscles working. It's pretty cool. And then curl your toes back towards your body and let that go. Roll to your side. Push yourself up to stand, okay? And once you're standing, you're gonna put more of your weight into your left foot and lift your right heel away from the floor. You can do whatever you want with your hands. You can wave them out to the sides, palms in front of your chest, or hands at your hips, whatever feels good. I want you to roll through your foot. So you can root your heel back down, and then lift your heel again and roll over onto the top of your foot. Okay, and then roll back through, so you come all the way down to your heel. And then go back forward again, so bend your knee, roll over the top of your foot and stretch. So you're getting a big stretch through your ankle and your toes, and then roll back over the toes, ball of your foot and your heel down. And just go a few more times. So roll forward, roll back, roll forward, roll back, roll forward over your toes, roll back, roll forward, roll back, and then one more time, roll forward and pause here for a moment. See if you can just shift your weight a little bit more forward so you're getting even more stretch through your ankle. Okay, a little bit more stretch through the top of your foot, and then roll all the way back. Okay, and then put your weight into your right leg, bend your left knee, because this is just the leg that you're gonna work. Be really careful that you're not locking your right knee here, so you're not pulling your knee back. Just soft knee, strong leg, steady. Okay, and then press your left heel back down. Excuse me, so you're going back to starting. And then roll forward all the way through the ball of your foot, or all the way over your toes, and then come on back, rolling down to your heel. Roll forward, go over the top of your foot, and go all the way back to your heel. Roll forward, over your toes, back towards your heel. And you can go as slowly or as quickly as you want. Roll forward, roll back, roll forward, roll back, roll forward. It's a good idea though to make sure that your toenails are well clipped. I'm going to say that. Roll back. And then one more time, roll forward. Roll all the way back. And just give your feet, both of them a little stretch. And then once again, stand on your right leg. This time you're actually going to lift your right foot away from the floor and roll that ankle. And see if you can make sure that it's not like your whole leg moving. Just try to isolate it as much as you can. Go the other direction. Subtle stuff. We don't really pay a lot of attention though to our ankles. And if you stand a lot, so if you are in a job, like a waitressing job, or if you're a doctor, you stand a lot during the day, put your right foot down, second side. Anything where you're bearing weight in your feet, like keeping your ankle joint healthy is really important. So lift your left foot up, make sure you're not locking your right knee, and roll circles. And again, try to keep this out of your knee. So you don't really want it to be like your knee moving your whole leg. Roll the other direction. And then put it down. Okay, and then grab one of the balls that you have. I'm going to grab my lacrosse ball because I like it. Put it underneath your right foot and roll forward and back. Oh, yeah. Now you can do this at any time during the day. I actually work at a desk. I'm a yoga teacher, so I work doing this. But for the other things that I do, where I'm emailing or sending out newsletters or editing videos or whatever, I stand most of the time. And a lot of times I'll do this. I'll put a ball underneath my foot and I roll back and forth. And it feels pretty awesome. And you can slide all the way forward, press your heel into the ball, and go all the way back and press the ball of your foot, your toes are on the ball. Just go forward and back, get a little movement, maybe even roll circles. That's That's kind of fun. So you're waking up the sole of your foot and switch. Oh yeah. And you can feel, I can feel when I'm doing this, the difference between my 2 feet. Okay, my left foot is a little bit more sensitive, a little bit more tender for any number of reasons. But it's really interesting to feel as you go back and forth with the ball, that difference. Okay, it can have a lot to do with what you feel in your knee, your hips, your spine, your shoulders. So you can go all the way forward, so your heel is on the ball, and you're just like pressing into it. You even lift your foot up, balance, that's kind of exciting. And then roll back so that your toe is on the ball of your foot. Roll circles. Fun with balls. Okay. Inappropriate things that I say while teaching yoga. Let's put this aside. All right. So your feet should actually feel pretty good right now. So when you stand on your feet, just sort of feel the connection of your feet to the earth, a little bit more awake, a little bit more alive. I hope at this point so that's some good ankle and foot stretching. And there are a lot of other things that you can do. This is just a really great place to start. So the next thing that I want to do is actually do a little bit more ankle stretching from Vajrasana. Before we get there though, what you're going to do is take your blanket and roll it up into a tight little roll. And I like to roll it on the longer end because it's just a little bit more friendly. So I'm going to roll it up on the longer end. And then I'm going to take this roll and I'm going to slide it in between my thighs and my calves. And then the tops of my feet go down. And I sit back on my heels. And this is a little bit more, just nice for your low back, and it's called calf smashing. I know, super catchy, right? You're like, oh yeah, I'm smashing my calves right now. Woohoo! It's party on my calves. Well, that's, so right now, calf smashing, that's actually going to have a lot of impact on how you hold yourself up. It's going to have a lot of impact, throughout your body. It's going to feel really good in your low back, incidentally, but it also will help your ankles and your feet. Okay, and it sets you up to feel a little bit nicer in some of these other seated poses, like Vajrasana, which we're basically in, but with support. It's nice for your knees because it's going to give your knee joint a little bit more space. If your knees are more sensitive, this is just a great place to hang out. And we're going to be here just for another couple of seconds. You can probably feel the calf smashing happening, and you might be really enjoying it, and you might be really hating me right now, maybe even at the same time. I'm totally cool with that. I have small children. I'm accustomed to big swings of emotion. Just a few more seconds though, and the longer you sit here, the more you're going to sink down, which is totally fine. All right, come on up, take it out. And now Vajrasana, your knees are about hip width apart. They can come together if your hips are more narrow, but they certainly don't have to. Your knees can be as wide as your hips if your hips are a bit wider. And you want your heels to be right underneath your butt. If this is uncomfortable for your knees, you can go back to the calf smashing or something a little bit less intense. You can just fold the blanket over and wedge it. So it's just a smaller wedge it in between your knees and sit back, and that could be a nicer way to sit in Vajrasana. But Vajrasana, it's thunderbolt pose in Sanskrit, or the English translation. So your heels directly underneath your butt, toes go straight back. It's a pretty good ankle stretch, actually. We're just going to add to it. So if you put your fingertips behind you, I want you to lift your right knee. Oh yeah. Lift your right knee, and then put it back down. And then lift your left knee. Put it back down. Lift your right knee, so you're going to shift a little bit to the left, put it back down. Lift your left knee, put it back down. I know, it doesn't look like much, right? Lift your right knee, put it back down. Left knee, oh yeah, put it back down. One more time. Right knee up, put it back down. And then left knee up, put it back down. And then shift back forward You can readjust as you need to. Toes go straight back. Heels are underneath your hips. And again, your knees might be a little wider, depending on how wide your hips are, but you're really going for where your femur bone sits in your hip socket. Okay, so you're not going for like outer hip width, not here, okay? Not knees like super wide. Your knees just in line with your hips. You rest your hands on your thighs, and you should feel still a pretty considerable stretch to your ankles. Okay, so just take another full breath in here. We'll come back to it. Full breath out. And then come on forward. So you come into table pose. If table is uncomfortable for any reason, you can come up onto your fists. Point your thumbs forward so you're not bearing as much weight in your wrists. Otherwise, hands underneath your shoulders, creases of your wrists, even with the front of your mat. And just extend your left leg back and cross it over your right, so you're giving yourself a stretch through your foot and your ankle. And then bring your left knee back in, extend your right leg back, cross it over your left, so pretty good stretch. Okay, and then come on back in. We've got one more. For your feet. It's a good one. It's called toe torture. Oh yeah, toe torture. That sounds awesome, right? Saved the best for last. No, so I wanted you to have something to remember me by after this. So toe torture is a kneeling position where your toes are curled under and you're sitting on your heels. Okay, and I look pretty calm right now, right? Like everything's cool, but actually inside I'm like, because what you're doing is you're stretching your foot and bearing weight at the same time, and you're stretching a part of your foot that doesn't usually get stretched. So if you're somebody who, works, in a more conventional job, like a non-yoga job, for example, and you're wearing shoes all day, your feet don't really get to stretch usually. Even if, you're fairly physically active, even if you go for, a run every couple of days, your feet don't always get to stretch, right? You're not, pressing through your feet evenly, and you're not giving yourself the opportunity to really move the fascia of your feet and to bear weight in different ways, because your feet are kind of wedged into shoes. So toe torture gives you the opportunity to stretch out those parts of your feet that don't usually get stretched. Yeah, it's pretty delightful. I know we've been here for a while. What you will probably notice is you find yourself like inching forward, trying to take your weight off your feet. Sit back, be cool, baby, we're almost done. It's not so bad, I promise. Just a few more breaths. You've been here for about a minute. Just a few more breaths. Because then when you come back into Vajrasana after this, you're totally going to love it, I promise. Okay, so one more full breath in. Oh yeah, come on out. Stretch those toes. And kick them a little. Yeah. And then sit on back. And I'm going to give you one more option so you can have this block handy. Just sit on back. So Vajrasana, oh yeah, that should feel pretty nice, right? After toe torture, Vajrasana feels great. If your knees are healthy, meaning you don't have any knee pain when you're in Vajrasana, you don't generally have knee pain, you can actually take this one step further. Okay, so you can take your block, you can take your feet wider than your hips and slide your block underneath your butt. And your feet go on either side of the block, so on either side of your hips. And again, your knees as wide apart as your hips, that might mean they're together, that might mean apart. And just sit here. Okay, so it's a little bit elevated. You can also remove the block completely and lower your hips all the way down for Virasana. Virasana is hero's pose. So it's even more of a stretch for your ankles, for your calves, for your knees, and for your thighs. Okay. Now, if you can't get your butt all the way to the floor, but the block feels a little bit too high, you can grab your trusty blanket, fold it over once, slide it underneath your butt, and give yourself just a little cushion there. Okay, if you need a tiny bit more cushion. Okay, but this pose, Virasana, so nice for ankle and calf and knee health, really good for that circulation in the lower part of your body, so that you give yourself just a more active and aware foundation, right, from your knees down. Just one more breath in here. And then come on out. Stretch out your feet. And come up to stand, just so you can feel this new freedom and steadiness in your legs. Oh yeah, feels pretty awesome down there for me. So I hope, and by down there I mean my feet, just to be really clear. My feet, my calves and my legs. This is turning out to be a much more awkward yoga video than usual. Anyway, but I'm not going to do it again because I think that you are going to really enjoy this from everything that we've done. I think that this is going to be really helpful for you because after doing about 20 minutes of work on my feet and my ankles, I feel pretty amazing. Like I feel like I could go for a run right now. I feel like, you know, I just feel really steady in my foundation. I feel like I can hold myself up better. So hopefully you're feeling that way too. If you have any questions at all about your feet, your ankles, or below your knees from this particular video, please feel free to put a comment in the comments below. I promise I'll answer it as soon as I get it because I love having yoga nerdy conversations with you about anatomy and body parts and how everything works. Please don't forget to subscribe to my weekly videos by hitting the subscribe button in the bottom right corner so that you can get videos like this delivered to your inbox every single Monday, which sounds like a pretty awesome way to start your week. You get to see me at least once a week, so that's pretty great, right? So other than that, I just want to thank you for hanging out with me and doing a little bit of yoga for your feet and for your lower body. And I look forward to doing more yoga with you again really soon, okay? See you next time. Bye.